Welcome to Royal Secret. The facade of calm that has long surrounded Spain's royal palace has just cracked, and the world is watching. For over 2 decades, King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia of Spain have been the very picture of royal unity, elegant, modern, and committed to their national duty. But in a stunning twist that has shaken the Spanish monarchy to its core, whispers of divorce are now erupting into headlines, gossip columns, and urgent analysis from royal experts across Europe. Could the unthinkable be happening behind the gilded doors of Zarzuela Palace? This is not just a story of a royal couple in crisis. It's the unraveling of one of Europe's most scrutinized marriages, a union that once symbolized the blending of tradition and modernity, now seemingly at war with itself. What makes this story all the more explosive is not just the rumors, it's the chilling silence that has followed them. No denials, no confirmations, only carefully orchestrated public appearances, icy stares captured by photographers, and a growing mountain of speculation. And now, one royal expert has stepped forward with an answer that is sending shockwaves through royal circles. This isn't just a royal rough patch, the expert warned in a recent televised interview. This is a relationship strained beyond its breaking point, and the public has only seen the surface. To understand how it came to this, we must first rewind the clock. Back to a time when Queen Letizia was not a queen at all, but a bold, ambitious journalist whose engagement to the then Prince Felipe caused both admiration and unease. Letizia Ortiz Roquesolano was no stranger to the spotlight. A fierce reporter with a commanding presence and a sharp intellect, she had already made a name for herself on Spanish television. But when she became engaged to Felipe in 2003, she stepped into a realm of tradition, expectation, and scrutiny like never before. The monarchy, still recovering from years of scandal surrounding Felipe's father, King Juan Carlos I, viewed Letizia as a modern solution to a very old problem. Yet that modernity came with a price. She was never going to be the silent queen, remarked one former royal aide. Letizia was not raised to play second fiddle. She challenged the system, and the system began to push back. From the very beginning, Queen Letizia's relationship with the Spanish royal family has been turbulent. Reports of frosty tensions between her and her mother-in-law, Queen Sofia, have emerged periodically, often fueled by awkward public interactions caught on camera. The now infamous 2018 Easter Sunday video, where Queen Letizia appeared to block Queen Sofia from taking a photograph with her granddaughters, ignited fierce public debate about royal decorum, personal boundaries, and underlying familial tensions. Still, the marriage survived. The monarchy carried on. And when Felipe ascended the throne in 2014, the couple presented a united front, young, clean, and reformed, distancing themselves from the controversies of King Juan Carlos. But as insiders now suggest, the cracks had already begun to form. In recent years, King Felipe and Queen Letizia's public engagements have grown increasingly choreographed, observers say. Smiles appear forced. Glances exchanged during royal tours are brief, often cold. Body language experts have noted subtle signs of detachment, the lack of eye contact, the physical distance between the couple, and Letizia's seemingly independent demeanor at state functions. There's no warmth, says a longtime royal correspondent. There's protocol, there's performance, but there's no passion. Then came the allegations of betrayal, not infidelity, but something more subtle. A betrayal of values. Letizia, many say, has grown increasingly distant from the royal script. Her decisions, supporting controversial authors, attending events alone, embracing causes without royal sanction, have drawn criticism from traditionalists and palace insiders alike. Meanwhile, King Felipe, often praised for his steadiness and diplomacy, has been forced to play the role of mediator, balancing the expectations of an ancient institution with the will of a woman who refuses to be silenced. There's no doubt he admires her, says the expert. But admiration doesn't mean compatibility. At some point, admiration can become exhaustion. What's more, sources close to the palace reveal that Queen Letizia's growing influence has unsettled some within the royal household. Her control over her daughter's public image, especially Princess Leonor, the heir to the throne, has been described as absolute. Some advisors believe Letizia's vision for the monarchy's future doesn't align with Felipe's more conservative instincts. They're on 2 different tracks, a palace insider reportedly told a Spanish newspaper. He's trying to protect the crown. She's trying to reinvent it. All of this has culminated in a firestorm of speculation, fueled by Letizia's recent solo appearances, King Felipe's reserved demeanor at public events, and a disturbing lack of intimacy between the couple during what should be celebratory royal milestones. But the real shock came just days ago, when a respected Spanish royal expert appeared on national television and dropped the bombshell statement now dominating headlines. "I have every reason to believe that discussions of divorce have taken place," the expert declared. "Nothing has been filed, but this is more than a marital dispute. It's an existential crisis for the Spanish monarchy." He continued, "Letizia is a queen unlike any Spain has ever seen. But that uniqueness may also be her undoing. She doesn't need the crown to survive. The question is whether the crown can survive without her." His words landed like thunder. Suddenly, every archived photo, every icy glance, every solo walk to a royal car was being reanalyzed by millions of Spaniards and royal watchers around the globe. Could it really be true? Could Spain's most glamorous royal couple be heading toward a royal split? And what would it mean for their daughters, Princess Leonor and Infanta Sofia? For the future of the monarchy itself? Already, the Spanish press is ablaze with speculation. Some suggest Queen Letizia has quietly moved into a separate wing of the palace. Others point to Felipe's increased number of solo appearances as a sign of a deliberate distancing. International tabloids have run stories of secret negotiations and non-disclosure clauses, though none have been confirmed. Zarzuela Palace, as expected, has issued no official comment. Yet behind the silence, the signs are growing louder. To truly understand what's at stake in this royal storm, we must look beyond the crowns, the ceremonial gowns, and the perfect photographs. Because behind the public image lies a woman who has been reshaping her identity since the day she walked into the world of royalty, and a man, a king, who has been fighting to keep the institution she married into from crumbling under the weight of modern expectations. Letizia Ortiz was never meant to be a quiet, dutiful queen. When she joined the Spanish royal family in 2004, she came with a history and a voice. A former journalist and award-winning news anchor, Letizia had already built a name for herself long before she said yes to the future King of Spain. Fluent in both the mechanics of the media and the politics of communication, she entered palace life with a sense of awareness few royal spouses could claim. And she didn't simply marry a prince, she married into a centuries-old institution still wrestling with its own contradictions. Letizia was the first commoner to become queen in Spain. Divorced from a previous marriage. Middle class, career-driven, articulate and unafraid to speak. To many, she was a symbol of change. But to others, especially those within the tightly guarded inner circle of Spanish nobility, she was an anomaly. A disruption. From day one, she has pushed boundaries, recalled one royal reporter. And not everyone in the palace liked that. Her wardrobe choices quickly moved from elegant gowns to bold fashion statements. Her causes expanded from traditional royal patronages to advocacy around female empowerment, mental health, and education. She challenged the press when necessary and did not hesitate to exert control over her own public image. But that desire for control may have also bled into her private life, and some say it's where tensions with King Felipe began to grow. "They are fundamentally different people," one court observer noted. "Felipe is a consensus builder. Letizia is a change maker. He moves carefully, she moves fast. That creates friction, especially when the whole country is watching." The cracks began to widen behind closed doors. But they didn't go unnoticed in public. Over the years, subtle signs of marital distance became more visible. At public events, the couple would sometimes appear stiff, disconnected. Letizia would arrive separately. Felipe would give a speech without acknowledging her. Photographers captured moments that felt more like cold transactions than affectionate exchanges. And each time, the public would whisper. In 2023, Letizia shocked many when she traveled alone to several international conferences and was praised globally for her independent presence. Meanwhile, Felipe stayed behind, continuing his royal duties in Spain, often without mentioning his wife's activities abroad. It wasn't just a scheduling conflict, it was the optics of it. Letizia was making it clear. She didn't need him to shine, said a Spanish TV commentator. And perhaps, that was the most powerful message of all. But behind that message, royal insiders now claim, lay deep disagreements. Not about infidelity or betrayal of affection, but about power, public image, and parenting. Raising two royal daughters, Princess Leonor and Infanta Sofia, has become a battleground of sorts between the couple. Letizia has long been described as fiercely protective of her daughters, especially Leonor, the heir to the throne. She manages her schedule, approves what she wears, oversees her education, and fiercely guards her from the media. King Felipe, on the other hand, reportedly favors a more traditional royal upbringing. He was raised under strict protocol, prepared from a young age for duty, and believes in a more reserved, structured royal education. That difference in approach has become more apparent with Princess Leonor now stepping into the spotlight. At 18, Leonor is preparing for a life of service and possible sovereignty. But while King Felipe focuses on training her for monarchy, Queen Letizia emphasizes modernity, freedom of thought, and personal agency. It's a quiet battle of ideologies unfolding before the Spanish public's eyes. "She's torn between two worlds," said one royal aide close to Leonor. "And both her parents are pulling in opposite directions. And that tension is being felt at the palace staff level too." Insiders have revealed that Letizia has quietly replaced much of her personal staff over the past 2 years. Former aides complained of micromanagement and a demanding work environment. She reportedly insists on being briefed in detail before every engagement, edits her speeches extensively, and has even vetoed certain press photographers from royal events. "She is running her court like a newsroom," one disgruntled former staffer commented. "Everything is fact-checked, rehearsed, and polished. There's no room for spontaneity. Not even in marriage." This pursuit of perfection, though admirable to some, may have also added pressure to her relationship with King Felipe. He is known to be diplomatic, composed, and perhaps more willing to compromise. But Letizia's assertiveness and strong views, especially on modernizing the monarchy, have been seen by some courtiers as disruptive, and by Felipe himself, as emotionally exhausting. Still, up until now, the couple has kept a united front. At national holidays, royal tours, and constitutional ceremonies, they appear side by side. Their daughters smiling dutifully, photographers snapping away, but increasingly, the cracks are visible in the rehearsed poses. It's why the expert's recent television interview hit so hard. "There's no single moment that caused this," he said. "It's a buildup. Years of strain. Years of trying to balance tradition with transformation. And something had to give." He pointed to Letizia's increasing public confidence, often seen without her husband at key national and international events, as a sign that she may already be mentally preparing for a life post-palace. She no longer sees herself only as a queen. She sees herself as a woman with a voice, with purpose. And if the crown gets in the way of that voice, she will walk away from it. But what would that mean for Spain? If a divorce were to be announced, it would be unprecedented in modern Spanish history. The constitutional implications would be staggering. Though Letizia holds no political power, her public role is deeply symbolic. A separation would raise questions about the monarchy's stability, especially with Princess Leonor so close to assuming more responsibilities. The Spanish public is divided. Some see Letizia as a symbol of progress, strength, and female empowerment. Others view her as a disruptive force, too modern for an ancient throne. And King Felipe, he remains beloved by many, seen as a stabilizing presence in turbulent times. But even his reputation would not be immune to the fallout of a divorce. The monarchy has already weathered years of scandal, from King Juan Carlos's financial corruption to questions about the monarchy's relevance. Another crisis could test its very legitimacy. Already, the palace has begun making subtle moves to prepare for public questions. Official schedules are being restructured. Joint appearances are becoming less frequent. Royal photographers are being warned to avoid capturing private family moments. And key palace advisors have been unusually tight-lipped about the royal couple's plans for the coming months. One thing is certain. Something is shifting inside Zarzuela. And while no official statement has been made, the silence speaks volumes.